All right, let's do it. And that's the seventh needle. The final score is 4-3. Home team wins. Hopefully their mystic gloves will save them. Oh, apparently not. That's pretty bad. Everything's on fire. There's tornadoes. Volcanoes are erupting. It's pretty apocalyptic. Bye-bye, Osohi Castle. This is a really pretty Game Boy Advance game, and it's a shame almost that it was on the Game Boy Advance, because the music in this game is amazing and the visuals are amazing, and the Game Boy Advance is just not the best little machine for that. The speakers were really poor in the Game Boy Advance, and then of course the colors are really washed out. And that's the end of the game. Or is it? So what you're supposed to do here is just walk around until... think the implication is that this is that the whoever's walking around in the end is supposed to be you. You're not walking around as Lucas. So I think that was Flint, and then this is of course Kumatora talking about she's crying, and then this is Duster, probably. Even the mole crickets are here. This is a very ambiguous oxygen. Sure. There's salsa. But like I said, this is a very ambiguous ending. Like, did everybody live? Did everybody die? Where are they at? Why is it dark? Good job, Boney. Couldn't have done without you, my friend. That is, of course, Porky in his absolutely safe capsule. There's the doorknob that we got. Yep. We can meet as many times as we want. Yep, had a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun. And that ends Chapter 8 and Mother 3. So let's watch the credits. So, overall, I really like this game. I think Earthbound is still my favorite of the three. Mother 1, just, like, it's too much of a NES Dragon Warrior 2 clone. Like, it's got some inklings of like what will lead into Earthbound and Mother 3, but you know, it's just bogged down by too hard by trying to be Dragon Warrior 2. And of course, the end of the game is absolutely not balanced at all. Very difficult. You get Earthbound, which can be challenging, especially the first time you've played it, but it's not too difficult. There's lots of interesting locations to explore. You're never really locked out of anything. This game is much more linear and darker. I much prefer like the much more light-hearted tone of Earthbound. I mean, this game isn't super dark, but it gets there in some places. There's Isaac. Got himself a pig mask uniform. All the different people of Tazmily. This game really excels, though, in the music. They did a really good job with the music. The characters are all unique still. There's a lot of very strange events that are awesome. Okay, so that's where they tell you her name. Okay, yeah. Salsa and Samba. Mostly I find the plot of this game just to be, like, it's not even just the stuff that happens with Klaus and Hinawa that's sad. Like, when you start taking into account, like, as an adult who has seen people who can't let go of the past, who have regrets, who want to keep a hold of their childhood, who really didn't grow up as they got older, like, I seriously sympathize and pity Porky. So, old Mr. Saturn. Mr. Saturn's coming back was lots of fun. Mr. Saturns are probably one of my favorite mascot characters because they're so simple. And here are just the random NPCs that appear throughout the game. There's a lot of different variety in the NPCs in this game. More so than most 16-bit RPGs. I don't know, is this considered a 16-bit RPG? I feel like it's a little more than that. Because while the art style and stuff of this game is very similar to Earthbound, there's a lot of mechanics and stuff and graphical things that are definitely a step up from Earthbound. So that'd be a question I'd be interested in knowing the answer to. Like, is the Game Boy Advance considered a 16-bit console? So, is a game that is like Mother 3 that was made on this console considered a 16-bit RPG? Or is it considered something a little more than that? I know there was a lot of Super Nintendo ports to the Game Boy Advance. There's all of our save frogs. Facade and his translation robot. Facade is a character that I think, like, I get that you don't always get the questions answered, but Facade is a character who, like, why was he the way he was? How long was Porky... There's a lot of, like, unanswered questions in this game. How long was Porky there? Because those vines and stuff, like, he had been up in that ceiling for a while. Did the Masked Man... No, I mean, not the Masked Man. Did Porky meet Locria and many years ago? Like, what was the impetus for them working together? What made Locria want to do the things that Facade did? But overall, I really like this game. It's not too difficult. It's pretty easy. It's decently fun. The added bit about the sound battles and, like, you know, the rhythm fighting and stuff like that is adds a level of interaction into the turn-based battles that is welcome. The same thing with things like the rolling HP counter, or like defending, adds some strategies, like, okay, do I go for it, do I defend and, like, let somebody else go for it, you know, that kind of thing. The buffs and debuffs in this game are much more useful than they were in Earthbound. Outside of a few niche situations, spells like, or PKs like PSI moves, whatever you want to call them, like offense up and offense down, and the status effects are not particularly useful. It's almost always better to just outright kill an enemy in Earthbound. I think they definitely balance the PK moves a lot more. They made all 3 sets of PK moves useful. And, you know, Earthbound, it was pretty much just freeze all the time. Occasionally, you want to use fire when there was multiple enemies. But thunder was almost never good in Earthbound. This game also has one up on Earthbound because it's got Boney in it. And Boney is the best boy. I do kind of wish there was more secrets in the game, like more side quests, but that's not really a knock on it compared to the previous 2, because there wasn't really a whole lot of side quests in those either. And when they did show up, the side quests in those were not particularly rewarding. You know, you have... I'm trying to even think of a side quest in Earthbound. I can't even really think of anything in Earthbound that would be classified as a rewarding side quest. This game at least has 1 or 2. You could do things in Earthbound like talk to the like there's the sock. You can find the guy's contact. I think it was. No, not contact. It was or you could find things like the white and black sesame seed, but those are not really rewarding. This game certainly does feel a lot more personal than Earthbound did, because in Earthbound Zero or Beginnings or whatever, in Earthbound, you spend the whole game kind of walking across the world. In this game, it's kind of confined to one small island. And then, of course, there's the whole family issue with Hinawa's death and whatever. So, overall, I really like this game. Still think Earthbound's got the bigger place in my heart. But if you haven't played it, I do recommend you sit down and, give this game a go. So I will see you guys next time on another Let's Play. Bye.